Splatoon for the Nintendo Wii U was a massive success. It sold nearly 5 million units worldwide and received pretty good reviews, so naturally a sequel was to go into development. Its After the End world captured the hearts of many gamers with its addictive online multiplayer. So Nintendo can say that they have a new franchise, a third-person shooter but you shoot ink instead of bullets. Quite unique. So now Splatoon 2 has been released for the Nintendo Switch. Is this a true sequel or is it more of a mission pack? Let's find out. So after the game opens with a tutorial, you get a news flash. Our new characters, Pearl and Marana, tell us that the Zatfish has been stolen yet again. I mean, seriously, you guys didn't put a tracker on that thing? Also, Callie is missing, which is puzzling. That would explain why the hosts are different compared to the first game. So you follow Marie into the sewers, and thus begins the story mode. You got 5 worlds to explore, you must spray the levels in order to find them, rescue the Zatfish at the end of every level. Yeah, this is exactly like the story mode of the first game. In fact, they really didn't do anything to change it up. Well, let's see how the levels are. You often get forced to use a certain weapon for the level, which serves the purpose of teaching you how to use that weapon. I think my favorite is the dual blasters because it gives you a dodge roll that's really handy to use online. You also have this really cool sniper rifle, which I find to be awesome, but impractical to use for the most part. You also have the roller weapon, and a handbrush weapon, and of course a bucket weapon, which just seems really handy to have for people who live and die off of ink. Of course, you also have these new special attacks that really help add some variety to the game. It's just they're a little hard to pull off in a multiplayer match, and tend to really just not end up doing much. What I will say is that the levels are much longer. Some levels take up to 20 minutes. There's levels where you have to get 8 Zatfishes instead of just 1, and you gotta deal with a bunch of enemies coming at you. It's just annoying because some levels can go on for very long, and don't even think about losing all your lives, because then you have to do the whole level all over again. There are moments in the story mode that revolve around platforming, and I'm grateful for that. Using these sponges to jump higher, and filling up these sponge-like substances to get up higher, it all adds more varied game design. Like before, there's little extra pieces you can get to flesh out the story. I didn't find the time to get all this. What do you think I am, the completionist? What I will say is that the boss battles are again about shooting the enemy's squid tail. While it's the same old thing, the boss battles are a lot of fun as they are creative in how you go about things, even if most of them are pretty easy. Another thing I must criticize is you only get 3 lives. You lose all of them and you're back to the beginning of the level. That's nice. Are we past the whole live system or are we not? However, story mode got its fair share of laughs out of me, and I'll always appreciate that. It took me about 6 hours to complete it, and don't get me wrong, I'm grateful that this game has a story mode. Arms! So, what else do I have to say about the game? The presentation is really good. The graphics are a nice upscale from 720p to 1080p. The graphics are nice and colorful. Watching ink get sprayed everywhere is just as good as it was in the original game. Using the Pro Controller for the gyroscope instead of the gamepad is surprisingly really simple. I can aim just fine, and no functionality has been lost despite the loss of a dual screen. You can do pretty much everything you could in the original game, so I'm very impressed. Now what is it about Splatoon 2 that bugs me? The online app I can't really comment on because my phone is currently on the fritz and due for an upgrade, but I can totally understand Nintendo wanting to restrict voice chat. Because have you been on any of Microsoft's voice chats? Lots of swearing. Yeah, tell me something I don't know, right? So I understand Nintendo wanting to limit that so parents won't have to complain about having their kids hear swear words. Rather than fight their family-friendly approach, they've embraced it, which has turned out really well for them. Most of the time. But as of now, it seems to be working pretty well. The Switch is selling pretty well. I guess it's like a reoccurring loop. Online customization could really use some work. I was using the sniper rifle for a few matches, only to find that it was utterly useless. So I had to quit the match, thus leaving a friend out to dry. So I had to go back, switch my weapon, and go back in, only to find that he had left. It really upset me. I mean, you could switch between racers at will in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so why can't you do that here? It just would be nice to have that as an option. Also, the story mode allows you to switch between weapons at will while you're on the hub world. It would be nice to have that option while you're playing online. But then again, would that unbalance the game? I suppose not if you limit just how many weapons you can carry. It's just an option. Online still has the exact same minigames with the exact same way to unlock them. You have to get to level 10 to be able to play ranked multiplayer matches for the exact same games. Why? Couldn't they have switched it up a little bit? I couldn't even get footage of some of these games because there's a time limit on to when they're used. Nintendo really needs to stop with this "only this stage is available at this hour" that held back the original Splatoon. So why here is this still the case? So, that raises the question, why is this a sequel? Why didn't they just do a port of Splatoon 1 to the Switch that seems to be working out great for other games? Well, I suppose the honest answer to that is that they didn't need to. It could be for storyline purposes. I mean, the final Splatfest set up Carrie going missing because she lost to Splatfest, so maybe Nintendo's starting to see the value of putting lore into their games. I mean, Super Mario Odyssey looks like it has a bit more of an involved story than Mario games traditionally have, so they might be learning. But really, I guess Splatoon 2 has a bit more of a leeway than Splatoon for Switch. Actually, never mind, it pretty much is that. So Splatoon 2 is a good game with its fair share of shortcomings. I'm sure Nintendo will fix all this for the inevitable Splatoon 3, whenever that comes out. I just wish Nintendo took the time to fix the issues with the original Splatoon for this game, but what's done is done. It's time to move on to other projects. I think before Sonic Mania comes out, I'll do a top 10 video. Not sure what that'll be, but it's gonna be worth a shot. Thanks for watching, I'm signing off, take care. If you liked the video, please hit that subscribe button.